CMP resolutions have been working for the last 20 years to help organisations minimise the negative impact of conflict. Our overall aim is to get your staff through a dispute and through a conflict while keeping your staff in the organisation, keeping working relationships good, and if that isn't possible, to close the conflict with the minimum stress as fast and as painlessly as possible. The three elements of the CMP model are close, manage and prevent. That's what the CMP in the company stands for, that's what we do. The key thing is you need to invest in all three of those elements to get a really good return on investment. We're very unusual in that we cover all three of those areas and we can really support your business in taking a thorough, holistic approach.
London Underground introduced a harassment policy back in 2000, which required accredited managers to carry out investigations independently. However, very quickly the organisation realised that the impact of management time resulted in cases taking very long to be concluded. In 2006 there was a tendering process and CMP was successful in securing that tender. There are a number of outcomes which we've been able to actually quantify. First is the average length of time taken to close cases. That's gone down from 180 days on average to 65 days. Secondly is the speed and quality at concluding cases as well. Based on the cost analysis we've done, the total cost to London Underground in terms of case management back in 2005-06 was an average of about £9 million in total. The latest analysis we did, which was back in 2009-10, the cost had reduced to £6 million, which is sort of gross savings about £3 million at the end of the day.
It's really important when things go seriously wrong to get it right, to make sure you have fair processes, particularly for those very serious conflicts. So to help British business with that, we've devised a series of tried and tested standards for grievance investigation.
The Department for Business leads on the government policy and strategy for dealing with workplace disputes. And at the time our policy colleagues were evaluating the current system in place and were finding it was not meeting the needs of the business. We went through a rigorous recruitment process to find a supplier who would meet our particular requirements for the department. And at the end of that full tender process we selected CMP Resolutions to provide that in-house advice and consultancy for us. We set up some in-house workshops, seminars for people to come along so they could find out what it would be like to be a mediator in biz, and we selected 8 people to become biz mediators. Those 8 people then went through a very thorough training programme, and they have now come out to the other end and are fully qualified and have a professional qualification at the end of it. The impact of having an in-house mediation team has been quite real for us. It's allowed us to cut time down in terms of grievances. Line managers find it a lot easier to handle when they know they've got somebody helping them out to resolve an issue where it's actually gone beyond their capability. It's also allowed us to cut costs. The cost to the department, if we brought in external mediators for the 7 mediations that we've completed in our first year, would have been around about £10,000. So that's quite a significant cost in itself. It also has meant that we've been able to get mediations set up and resolved and issues dealt with quite quickly. And in terms of grievances in the department, they are slowly reducing.
Each business should calculate its own cost of conflict. By downloading some data onto a simple online tool that CMP's developed, organisations can find out their own specific cost of conflict. There are the visible costs: staffing for IR and ER departments, insurances, employment tribunal costs and legal fees. There's also the human costs: staff absences, stress-related sickness. There's the hidden costs, when teams don't make very effective decisions because they're not communicating very well, or there's rivalry among senior management. These can have a significant impact on a business's bottom line. With the conflict resilience profile that we've developed, you're able to see where that's taking place and what the appropriate remedial action should be.
The reason we collaborated with CMP is because we absolutely believe conflict resolution, conflict management is a core management capability. And in these very stressful times, times are very tough in organisations now. We're competing for resources, we're competing for airtime, and so misunderstandings are often rife. So we need to be able to basically find a way to ensure that they don't escalate, and that's our real concern. How do managers confront this capability and really get to the heart of why conflict is often rife in organisations and manage it appropriately? The feedback we've had from the people who are at the workshops has been very positive. Again, what's made it most impactful is even in a very short workshop, people left with skills, real things that they could make a difference with when they got back to the workplace straight away. The things they told us about what gave me confidence to understand what was really going on, gave me confidence to intervene a bit earlier, because often what we see, managers are quite concerned about the fact, well, should I get HR involved? This is about just giving them the confidence to have appropriate, sometimes robust, but self-aware conversations to nip in the bud misunderstandings that could end up accelerating and then taking an awful lot of management time. I think it's really important that UK businesses learn to manage conflict better and to build that capability in their managers, because there's no doubt that with a diverse workforce, with problems in our organisations as they are, we need different perspectives, and that will often mean that conflict abounds. So if we can ensure that we're managing conflict and get the real advantage out of diverse viewpoints, then we'll really see a positive business impact.
UK business has millions of customers. Many of them are unhappy when they complain or when they see you fighting with one another. What's important for us is that UK business builds customer confidence, builds engagement with staff by having effective conflict management and dispute resolution at work. That will really help you deal with that tough tomorrow's world that's coming up and be resilient and productive.